Tell me about your route to auto crimes. So you said you kind of had this specialty about cars. How do you end up getting there?
Well, in my precinct years, I was always getting into car chases. I grew up in a neighborhood where stealing a car was a rite of passage. I was not a car thief, but a lot of the guys in my neighborhood were. Then I worked in a gas station as a teenager, and guys would come through with stolen cars, trying to sell parts on the car. Can you fix the car? I knew what to look for. In the old days, with like the General Motors products, you break the steering column, vent windows broken, the balloon tire changed, dirty plates on a clean car. So I knew what to look for. And I was in, and the NYPD had just started going with the computer cars. So it was like a slot machine. And if you knew what to look for and you knew the odds, it increased your odds of getting a hit on a stolen car. And I was getting involved in a lot of car chases. The NYPD policy on stolen car chases is you're not allowed to chase stolen cars. Did we do it? Yeah, all the time. But if you got into a car chase and nobody got hurt and no cars got crashed, no harm, no foul. No one's going to say a word. If you got into a car chase and you wrecked a radio car, or God forbid a civilian got hurt, they're going to look to take your job. They're going to hurt you. So there was this new sergeant in the precinct who came up to me one day, and he was a young, energetic guy, and he goes, I like what you're doing. He says, but you're going to get screwed. He goes, there's another way. Another way for what? And he goes, do you know what a tag job is, changing VIN numbers on car? And I said, I had heard of it, but I didn't know what it was. And whenever there was an abandoned car in the street, he would show me where the hidden VIN numbers were and stuff and what to look for. And the guy became my mentor. And I started making all these tag job arrests. And, you pull over these gypsy cabs. Gypsy cab is a four-door car, usually driven by an illegal alien with no license, no registration, no insurance. They used to cruise the bus stops and the subway train stops, and it's called like a dollar cab. So people would give them a couple of bucks and they would take them home from whatever train station. The problem with that is if they get into an accident, they're going to leave the car and you're screwed. So a lot of those cars were tagged. They would have someone steal a car and change the VIN numbers on it, and they would drive it into the ground. So that guy was like my mentor. And at the time, the catalyst for me going to the auto crime division was the auto crime division had a school. It was a week-long school where NYPD members from different precincts could go. And everybody wanted to go to that school because later on, to become a sergeant, you needed X amount of college credits. I forget what it was. That week-long class at the auto crime division was 4 college credits. So everybody wanted to go to that school. I wanted to go to it. I had no intention of being a sergeant, but I wanted that knowledge or maybe to go to auto crime. So I'm sitting in this classroom and there's cops and detectives from all over the city. And about the second day, this salty hairbag detective goes, is there anybody in this room that wants to work in the auto crime division? Again, I raised my hand. He goes, officer, stand up. And I knew it. I knew it. I stepped out too far and I stand up and he goes, do you have any family on the job above the rank of inspector? I said, no. He goes, sit down. You're never going to work here. And I'm like, oh, yeah? Fuck this guy. I'm getting in one way or another. And I just kept my nose to the grindstone. I kept making arrests. From the precinct level, I went into the borough water larceny unit, which had the run of the borough to go after car thieves. I started doing that. My old sergeant from narcotics, it was just kind of the stars aligned. My sergeant from narcotics who liked me was in auto crime. And he saw me one day and he goes, what are you doing now? I said, I'm in borough water larceny. He goes, put in for auto crime. He goes, I'll put in a good word for you. I go, are you serious? He goes, yeah. He goes, what are you going to do? Work in the borough for the rest of your life? He goes, do it. Had the interview, did well on the interview, and the rest is history. I went into the auto crime division where I did my next 10 years.